Welcome to Socktown. I'm Sock's Way Up. In today's episode, we're going to kick it off by taking a peek at some things I've done offline. If you watched last episode, you're familiar with this area. We got a ton of unique factories, and I got some great suggestions in the comments from that video about adding warehouses to this area that are specialized in the resource needs of each factory. So I went ahead and did that. You can see some of those warehouses there. We won't spend too much time going into that. But I appreciate all the comments and feedback. It helped me out a ton. There's some basic things that I forgot about the game, like warehouses that were needed. Thank you very much. So I wanted to highlight Thigh High Village that we're trying to finish up here. I did a little bit offline also on this. Here's a little fire station, police station triangle. Still need to do a little bit of detailing in there. Looks like some of those picnic tables were just kind of thrown on the ground, but they're there. So we got to get those updated. And then over here, we got a peek at our hospital. Has a clinic there as well, a couple clinics. Thought it was like a nice little area to have like all of the healthcare needs for this new neighborhood that we got going in. All right, this next area that we're gonna recap is the new high dense area that we added to Thigh High Village. It's all the self-sufficient homes. They're, again, high dense, so they have the grass on top. I really love this theme of buildings, and I probably overuse them, but I enjoy them in our city. I think it works out really nice. And then here we're getting a little peek at our new education area in this town. We got one of the community schools and a high school in this area, and a nice little parking area for the teachers and students when they go to school. So I think the skyline here, it's looking real. The city's looking good. I'm struggling with what to do next. And specifically, I know what I want to do, but where I want to put it is the challenge. Well, that's one more thing I wanted to show. I did add dirt to the interior of the zoo. I do want to come back and detail that a little bit more. This area is not completely filled out. I don't really want to work on it there. Let's see, we could use this area back in here. Not really sure. I guess I should tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to make our high-tech area the real high, tall skyscrapers that are just for the tech industry. It's time. We got enough educated people. I think I'm just kind of taking a peek at the freeways and making sure we have enough access to these areas since there's going to be a lot of high density. So we do have 3 entrances here, or exits. We could go along this coast and make a skinny, high dense area that kind of just runs through that river area. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Stop wasting time. Let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna upgrade this existing road around the river to be a 4-lane road, or 2 lanes on each side. That's gonna be needed at a minimum to get the traffic into this area. After that, we're gonna add, a little bit of a border, the key to block the river. I think it has a nice look, especially for an area like a high-tech zone like we're gonna do. But we gotta play around with these roads. We're gonna get the access from all 3 of these exits to this road so that we can make it work for the incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. And here we're gonna make the railroad go over the road here. So we're moving it up to the desired height, upgrading the railroads. What the heck? Oh, that's fun. Trains broke. But updating those to be the elevated train tracks so that we can get the road to go underneath it and then have a nice slope so that it is a natural up and down for the railroad, or for the train. And here we're pulling in our road. There, we got one. We got another one here we got to pull in. And the 3rd one already connects, so we don't have to worry about that. And then here's that key I was talking about. We're going to have to drag this all the way around. Honestly, I spend a lot of time manipulating this, so instead of boring you with all those details, we're going to fast forward to the next section of the episode. So one thing I wanted to take into consideration is we have this monorail already near the area. Let's get that foot traffic to be able to quickly get into this new tech area so that they don't have to drive around or walk around the huge road to get over here. So that'll be quick access for them. And then I also wanted to add a lot of footpaths that I don't think we keep, but you're gonna see we come up with some ideas here. We think it through. The pathing was a cool idea to begin with, but I did want to get the office complexes, or the office buildings in this area. I tried throwing down this. I didn't like it. I started playing around with it. I'm like, okay, maybe I can adjust my path. This is one thing that I find great about City Skylines is throw something down. If you don't like it, don't keep it. Just redo it. back it out, keep adjusting the areas until they fit your needs or make you satisfied with, well, what you want. And so right here, we say, nope, these paths aren't going to work. Let's strip them out. Let's try something else. So I did the pedestrian zonable paths. This might be risky. This might be really strange for an office area, but I thought it fit for what I was going for. Let me know what you think. I have no idea if I'm a fan of it. You'll see at the end, I think the buildings look really cool in this road structure that we create. And it turned out pretty cool. One thing to keep in mind is take a look at our demands right now. I completely forgot I didn't have any demand for offices or industry because of how crazy we went with our industry areas in the last few episodes. So we zone this, it doesn't grow. We then take a step back and we have to increase the population because we don't have anyone available to take the jobs that we're trying to lay down in this area. So this episode did go a little bit sideways for what I was looking for, but it turned out fine in the end. Not as long as I wanted it to be, but it was all right. So here I was kind of just messing around with the zoning, making the spaces the way I wanted it for when these buildings do start populating in certain areas, because I didn't want every single building touching each other. There are a few that do in the end, but you'll see what I mean later on. And here we decided, you know what, we're gonna need some parking structures. This is gonna be a high dense area, gonna need a lot of parking, so we threw down 4 parking garages, and then we gave some paths for easy access from the back to the front of the parking garage. Nothing too fancy that we haven't done before, but it's something that I'm learning really does help with the traffic, and giving people different options helps a lot. Again, we haven't had to do any episodes focused on fixing traffic, which I thought we're going to have to do. But I think the reason for that is we've kind of spaced things out. There's not a huge amount of people in one area. And here we have a cutaway of an area I was trying to grow, just kind of help that office demand. And we did build out this entire new neighborhood out here. And this district here is no show. I didn't necessarily expect to work on this in this episode, but once I realized my mistake with not building up that office demand or industry demand before starting to build out the new office area, I realized quickly I needed to get more people into the city. The population at this point is only at 55,000. Trying to grow a large, high-tech office area was probably a mistake without having that demand already at our disposal. But as I was saying, in Socktown, we've been real lucky with the traffic. We haven't had much to deal with, and I think realistic population plays into that because we are only at 56,000 people, and that's not too much traffic to deal with. As it grows in this last few phases that I'm doing with this city, I think it might become more of an issue. We'll see, though. All right, so you can see a lot of progress was made in increasing our residential. We built out a lot of this district, probably close to the last thing we want. Here's a big chunk of high density, another chunk of high density here, and then tucked behind it, we added a lot of low density residential. Definitely a style I like to go with, where we pretend again in our mind that those are apartment complexes, but it gives a nice view of our offices in the background. And as we zoom in on what is going to be the final product of this small high-tech area, I think it turned out cool. Mistakes were made. We should have paid attention to the demand early on, but we got it done. I like the way it turned out. Overall, I think the skyline's pretty neat right here. It turned out pretty interesting, pretty cool. Overall, not the most complicated build that we've done. Here's a view from the other side where you get kind of a cool look at what we did with some of those ploppable buildings that we added in there as well. But our Silicon Valley tech town industry area, I think, is complete. There's some things I want to do with the outskirts of it to kind of make it look more full. But again, you can see how those pedestrian zonable roads turned out. I like it. I dig it. I'm a fan of it. Not the most exciting thing that we've done in this city, but it's turned out pretty cool. And again, looking at, just kind of want to give an overview of Socktown as we kind of think over What else do we want to do with it? We could go for a while with it. I'm not sure what else is super interesting and needed. There's a little peak of traffic, 82%, still going strong. I'm going to take some time to think over the next few days on whether or not I want to keep this series going. There was a ton learned from me, as this is my first Let's Play series, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot of what I would do differently. I'm really itching to get to a new city, so I'm gonna do some deep thinking, some soul searching, one would say, to figure out, do we want to keep going with Socktown, or do we want to move on and start over, implement all the things that we've learned to make an even better Let's Play series for City Skylines, get a fresh start. I don't know where I'm leaning on that. Again, I'm going to give a few days to think it over. If you have any feedback or ideas or comments on that, let me know. And as always, thanks for joining. I'm Sockswayup, and I'll catch you on the next episode.